The quiet awakening. Long before anyone living could remember, the old neighborhoods on the north side of Ridgeview City were built on forgotten farmland, silent fields where wind once carried stories older than the town itself. Locals whispered that the land held echoes of ancient voices, but most people dismissed it as superstition. Most people never felt anything. But Alex Mercer did. Alex had grown up like any other 16-year-old, late-night music, weekend hangouts, and a curiosity for things he didn't quite understand. He lived with his mom and older sister in a rented house that was neither old nor new, just a quiet place tucked at the end of a cul-de-sac. Nothing about it seemed strange. Nothing stood out. Until the day the floorboards revealed something hidden beneath them. It happened in early autumn, when the air carried that metallic chill hinting the season was beginning to change. A maintenance worker had come to fix some pipe issues beneath the house. Alex barely paid attention as the man crawled under the floorboards, until he heard the worker call his name from below with a voice heavy with uncertainty. "Hey kid, you should see this." Alex crouched beside the open hatch. The worker pushed something up through the gap, a wooden panel coated with dust, its corners rounded from age. At first glance, it looked like a board for a forgotten game, the kind sold in an antique shop. But when Alex brushed dirt from its surface, he saw faded letters carved into the wood, arranged in a semicircle that almost seemed to form a whisper. A spirit board. But unlike the ones he had seen online, this board had a dark, almost obsidian backing, polished smooth despite its age. A strange pull tugged at Alex's attention, as if the board wanted to be held, wanted to be noticed. When his fingertips touched the surface, a jolt of cold shot through him, not painful, but startlingly vivid, like pressing against ice. "You okay?" the worker asked. Alex nodded, but the truth was he felt something, an uneasy awareness, like a presence opening its eyes after a long sleep. His sister, Mia, leaned down beside him. "It's probably just some old toy." But Alex wasn't so sure. Later that evening, they placed the board on the living room table. His mother, who practiced meditation and light spiritual rituals, looked puzzled. "I've never seen a board like this," she murmured. "It feels old. Much older than this house." Something about her tone made Alex sit straighter. His mother wasn't easily unsettled. Over the next few days, Alex tried to ignore the board. He stacked school books on top of it, slid it beneath his bed, even moved it to the hallway closet. But each time, he felt its presence like a faint hum under the surface of his thoughts, gentle but persistent, like someone quietly tapping at a locked door. Curiosity, as it often does, began to grow. And Alex, restless, musical, always searching for meaning in lyrics and late-night playlists, couldn't let the mystery go. One night, after everyone had gone to bed, he slipped the board from his closet and carried it to his room. His heart beat faster than it should have, but he told himself it was harmless. A piece of wood couldn't hurt him. He lit a small desk lamp and placed the planchette, an oddly smooth, triangular pointer, on the board. For a moment, he just sat there, staring at the faint letters. He didn't expect anything to happen. "Is anyone there?" he whispered, feeling ridiculous. Silence. A long one. He waited. Nothing moved. Nothing stirred. But just as he leaned back to put the board away, the planchette shifted. Barely. A nudge. Like the wood itself exhaled. Alex froze. "Okay, maybe I bumped it," he whispered, though he knew he hadn't. He placed 2 fingertips lightly on the planchette. His breath caught as it moved again, slow, uncertain, almost hesitant, drifting toward the letter Z. Then it slid to O. Then back to Z. Then again. D. D. The rhythm grew faster, as if gaining confidence, like something stretching after a long sleep. Alex pulled his hands back abruptly. The planchette stayed where it was. For a moment, the air felt heavier, as though the temperature had dropped several degrees. A shiver crawled slowly up his spine. He closed the session the way he'd seen in online videos, politely, firmly, telling whatever might be present that the conversation was over. But just as he blew out the lamp's warm glow, he heard something. A whisper so faint he couldn't be sure it was real. A breath against the dark. "Hello." Alex swallowed hard. He didn't sleep that night. He didn't tell his family. And he didn't yet know. This was only the beginning. The shifting stairwell. Elijah kept his phone raised, its trembling lens trying to capture every second of the impossible hallway he'd stepped into. The endless staircase behind him had vanished, replaced now by a narrow corridor washed in a dim blue glow, like moonlight filtered through deep ocean water. The air grew cooler, enough to make each breath form pale mist, though he couldn't tell where the coldness came from. The building shouldn't have been this cold. He took a step forward, and the entire hallway responded with a low mechanical hum, not threatening but ancient, as if the walls themselves were remembering how to exist. "This isn't real," Elijah whispered. But the echo that came back wasn't his own. It repeated the words, softer, slower, stretched, as though the space was trying to speak back. He froze. The corridor ahead seemed to sway, shifting subtly left, then right, like a tunnel built over water. A flicker ran across the walls, shadows that didn't match his shape. They moved at different angles, some longer than they should be, some shorter, all gliding toward the end of the hallway. He followed them cautiously. The shadows disappeared around a bend he swore hadn't been there before. Elijah peeked around the corner. The corridor continued but was now wider, with pale blue lights glowing just above the floor. The glow pulsed, slow, steady, almost like a heartbeat. His camera struggled to focus. "What were you?" he whispered. The recorded audio crackled, as if something was brushing against the microphone, but nothing touched him. Then the hallway shifted again. The walls pulled inward and stretched outward at the same time, creating a strange optical illusion, like looking through heat waves, except the air was frigid. Elijah blinked hard, thinking it was his imagination, but when he opened his eyes, the hallway had changed entirely. Now there were doors. Dozens of them. All closed. All identical. Except one. At the far end, a door stood slightly open, a thin strip of blue light spilling out, glowing much brighter than the corridors behind him. His pulse picked up. Something about the door felt familiar, though he'd never been here before. The light inside flickered, casting long shadows on the floor. And for a split second, just a fraction, he saw a figure move past the gap. It didn't walk. It didn't glide. It simply appeared, like a projection blinking into existence before vanishing again. Elijah's throat tightened. "Hello? Is someone there?" Silence. Then a soft tap. One tap. And then another. A slow, rhythmic knocking, as if something on the other side was waiting for him to approach. His fingers trembled as he zoomed in with the camera. The screen pixelated. The audio distorted again. Another tap came from the door, louder this time. He swallowed hard and stepped forward. As he approached, the air shifted, like stepping through a warmer pocket hidden within the cold environment. The blue glow brightened, reflecting off the floor like water ripples. Elijah stopped directly in front of the door, unsure whether to push it open or run back the way he came, if that way even still existed. Then the door moved slightly, not swinging open, but breathing in and out like something alive. He backed up quickly. "Okay, nope. No way." The door then creaked wider on its own, just enough to reveal a sliver inside, not a room, but another staircase. Blue-lit, spiraling downward, disappearing into a depth he couldn't see. A whisper drifted up the staircase. Not words, more like a single, distant exhale traveling upward. Elijah lifted his camera again. The whisper came again, clearer this time, though still impossible to understand. But the tone was unmistakable. It was calling him. The walls around him hummed again. The lights pulsed. The shadows lengthened behind him. Everything, the entire structure, seemed to wait for his choice. Elijah stood at the threshold, breath quivering in the cold, blue air. Step forward into the unknown. or walk away and never learn what waited below. He tightened his grip on the phone. "Okay," he murmured. "Just one more step." And he began to descend. The descent into the quiet blue. Alex stood at the mouth of the stairwell once again, not because he wanted to, but because the investigation had pulled him back like an unseen tide. The building was quiet now, silent in a way that felt intentional, as if the walls were holding their breath. A soft blue glow from the emergency strips lit the cracked tiles, bending around corners like a trail left for him alone. He took one step inside. The echo happened again, not after his foot touched the step, but before. A soft tap drifting up from below, syncing with his exact movement, like something hidden in the depths was mirroring him. Not chasing. Not threatening. Observing. Alex swallowed hard, switched on the body cam, and whispered, "Record everything." The stairwell descended in a spiral, each level identical to the one above. But today, something felt different, subtle shifts in light, in temperature, in the hum of the building. The air smelled faintly metallic, like rain hitting old wires. 30 steps down, the bulbs flickered again in that unnatural blue pulse. Flick, flick, steady. Flick, steady, flick. It wasn't random. It was a pattern. Alex stopped. "If anyone's down there, keep your distance," he said aloud, unsure why he felt the need to announce himself. Maybe because he sensed, deep down, that he was not alone. A soft sound drifted up the shaft. Not footsteps. Not breathing. Almost humming. Low. Slow. Shifting pitch like someone testing their voice in an empty room. "Okay, that's new," Alex whispered. He continued downward, each step colder than the last. His eyes caught something unusual, tiny markings scratched into the metal railing. Not words. Not symbols he recognized. But they curved and looped like someone had been carving them absent-mindedly while waiting. Waiting for what? A few levels deeper, the atmosphere changed again. For the first time, the staircase forked. A left turn. A right turn. 2 identical doorways facing opposite directions. This wasn't part of the original blueprints he studied. "Great, now you're changing on me," he muttered. He aimed his flashlight to the left. The beam stretched long and thin, swallowed almost immediately by darkness. To the right, the beam bounced back sharply, reflecting off something smooth. Glass. Alex approached the right side first. Behind a reinforced glass panel was a hallway he had never seen before, lined with filing cabinets, old computers, and scattered papers. A forgotten administrative wing. Or maybe something intentionally sealed. The eerie blue glow illuminated a single object on the floor inside the room. A VHS tape. "Seriously?" he whispered, squinting. "Who even uses?" A sound cut him off. Not humming this time. Not echoing footsteps. A soft clang, metal on metal, drifting from the left staircase, the one swallowed in darkness. Alex backed away from the glass, turning toward the other path. The sound repeated, closer now. But still slow. Still steady. Like something moving without hurry. He flicked on the camera light and followed the dark corridor. After a few minutes, the blue lighting faded into a deeper, richer shade, almost oceanic. The concrete walls glistened as if damp. And then he reached it. A landing he had never seen before. A wide platform with a single door in the center. No markings. No signs. Just a soft rumble behind it, like machinery buried deep beneath the building. Alex exhaled slowly, raised his hand, and pushed the door open. It swung silently. Inside was a vast room, far larger than anything that should logically exist beneath the structure. Rows and rows of old screens faced a central platform. Most were dead, but a few flickered with static and pulses of blue light. Blueprints, map, scans, footage. But they weren't recordings of people living in the building. They were recordings of people walking the staircase. Different clothes, different decades, different body types, all descending endlessly, all mirroring the same pattern of movement. And then Alex froze, because on the last functioning monitor, he saw himself, Same jacket. Same flashlight. Same hesitant step. Descending. But the footage wasn't live. It wasn't from today. The timestamp read 1997. Alex felt his breath stick. His hands trembled. Behind him, soft footsteps echoed, just one step at a time, measured, calm, and too close. A low hum vibrated through the room. The monitors flickered. The blue glow deepened. Alex turned slowly. And the chapter ends.